kingdom of heaven may be compared to someone who sowed seeds in his field, but while everyone was asleep, an enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat. Well, if this isn't the parable of 2020. Here everyone was, going on with life as normal, sowing our seeds, and then bam, Australian wildfires, Iranian military escalations, Prince Harry and Meghan flying the royal coup, an impeachment trial, then this thing about some virus begins circulating on the airwaves. But no time for that, because just as quickly as the Prince and Duchess left England, England left the European Union, and finally people are paying attention to the victims of Harvey Weinstein. But wait, America just entered into a state of emergency, but nothing really has changed. Hold up. Newsflash. Tom Hanks is infected. Okay. Everyone, let's not panic. Let's take a deep breath. But America's hero is sick. So let's shut down schools, learn appreciation for our teachers, shut down offices, and begin home improvement projects, and finally learn how to cook, because every single good restaurant is either closed or its takeout line is too long. Next, Zoom meetings, Tiger King, face masks, toilet paper, UFOs, locust swarms, murder hornets, no sports, Sahara desert dust, and race tensions on the rise, exposing our most vulnerable preconceived notions and misconceptions about society and our love for one another. And y'all know I've only said about half of these highlights from this year. An enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat. I like this parable because it makes no false promises about the difficulties of life. I like it because in our gaslighting, consumer-driven culture, we are constantly being sold the delusional attainment of life perfected, that our life can or should or perhaps already is flawless. We hide under a certain curtain of false perfection. It's this whole keeping up with the Jones mentality. And because of this American exceptionalism, we don't allow ourselves to acknowledge the weeds growing up among us. But it's true. Weeds are a part of this life. They are inevitable. This parable isn't about how to escape the weeds, but rather what do we do once you find that weeds have already infiltrated the good soil? Do we rip them up and with it destroy the harvest, or do we let it grow together, save what we can, and learn from our struggle? Our society for a long time has been pulling the weeds and forgetting the harvest. And I get why. Because it's so much easier than dealing with the issues. We don't even bend over to pull the weeds anymore. In our society, we are more likely to use Agent Orange and kill the field. Let's destroy it all, rather than deal with those things that infect our lives and our neighborhoods and our workplaces and our schools and our relationships. But in this parable, that's precisely what we are told not to do. Perhaps the only good thing about 2020 is that we are finally conversing with one another about the wheat and the weeds. From public health to gender abuse, race relations, justice, police perception, wealth distribution, and even politics and policy, we have been forced into the conversation on topics that we would often like to uproot and dismiss from our lives like weeds in our parable. But the fact is, when we uproot those weeds, when we shut down the conversation, we don't just uproot them, but also uproot any possible growth from the wheat as well. Because you see, the wheat and the weeds are intertwined. Throughout this mess of a year, through the trials of these issues, the truth that we have found, if we are honest with ourselves, is that these issues are complex. Convenient and straightforward remedies do not exist. Trying to rid ourselves of the issues by exterminating the opposition won't end well for either of us. So rather than destroy, this parable calls us to live with them and through them. And as someone who loves working in the yard, I understand that because of these evils, because of these weeds, growth will come slowly. We will be choked. And I understand that the harvest won't be as plentiful, but I also understand that if we are faithful, if we engage rather than uproot, Jesus says a harvest will indeed come, and we will reap the rewards of our journey. We will learn. We will grow through these difficult times. And then maybe, just maybe next season when it is time to sow, maybe we will better recognize the evil and prevent its weeds from being sown into our field in the first place. Y'all, I love you. God bless you. And as my grandmother used to always say, goodbye for now.